Hello everyone, welcome to the TakeTwo channel. Today we're going to introduce a few addictive series that have finished airing. If you're the type who enjoys that genre, you won't be able to put the show down. You'll end up neglecting your work and life. There are some addictive series many of you have already seen. They're so famous they didn't need to be on this list. Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Money Heist, Peaky Blinders. These are the world's most famous addictive series. If you haven't watched them, what are you even doing in this video? Go watch those first, then come back to look for more shows. In this list, I've picked 8 other popular series to introduce. I'll give you a very brief rundown of each, and it's spoiler-free. Start with one of the most famous shows. I know many of you have heard its name but haven't actually watched it, The Sopranos. This crime mafia series resembles Breaking Bad in many ways. The actor who played the lead role, Soprano, passed away in 2013, and the actor who played Walter White said that if Tony Soprano hadn't existed, Walter White wouldn't have either, because he based the character on Soprano. If you enjoyed Breaking Bad and its atmosphere, this show is perfect for you. It tells the story of the boss of an Italian-American mafia family who has to balance his criminal business with his personal life, and he isn't very successful at it. In the very first episode, we witness his panic attack. Because of this, he ends up seeing a psychiatrist, and during their sessions, we see flashbacks to the mob boss's life and learn more about his double existence. Belittled in front of his family, his wife, and most of the time his mother, yet harsh and powerful at work. The vibe is very similar to Breaking Bad. The show's ratings need no explanation. It's considered one of the top 10 series of all time. It has 86 episodes in total, finished airing in 2007, and is regarded as a dialogue-driven series. The series I'm going to introduce have a very dark atmosphere. If you haven't seen it yet, put this one at the very top of your watch list, the series Dark. If you watched 1899, which aired not long ago, know that Dark is cut from the same cloth, a mysterious, enigmatic genre. It's a German Netflix production that tells the story of a bleak, lifeless little town in Germany, situated beside a nuclear power plant and a nearby mysterious cave. One day, some kids go to play near the cave, but a frightened child wanders inside and disappears, never to be found. It's as though the cave is teeming with secrets, as though a hidden story lurks behind it. After the child goes missing, a number of strangers begin arriving in town, each carrying secrets of their own. The cinematography and editing are striking and will likely pull you in. Let me tell you, this show has the most suspense of anything on this list. You simply won't be able to stop. You'll want to binge every episode back to back, hammering the skip button just to learn how it ends faster. The German language heightens the series' eerie, enigmatic mood. Dark has only 3 seasons, just 26 episodes in total, and it finished airing in 2020. Its ratings are stellar. There's really no need to say more. Dark, mysterious series I want to introduce is one that's similar to Dark, but much more dialogue-driven, with fewer bizarre events and less mystery. Mr. Robot, starring the well-known actor Rami Malek. In this series, we follow a young man struggling with various psychological issues, social anxiety, hallucinations, obsession, yet he's also a computer genius who hacks everything with ease. If he dislikes someone, he hacks them. If the other party has committed even a minor wrongdoing, he exposes their secrets and makes them pay. He also holds radical beliefs that the world is founded on oppression and that the global order must be disrupted. This young man works for a large corporation, and in the very first episode, we witness several major cyber attacks against the company. He manages to thwart them, earning the company's trust and rapid promotion. But he soon discovers that the attacks were actually carried out by a quasi-terrorist group on purpose, so they could identify and contact whoever could stop them. He connects with the group and learns of its plan for the world, and that is only the beginning. The series concluded in 2019 and comprises just 45 episodes. Covered a few mysterious series. Let's introduce a comedy, Ted Lasso. You've probably heard the name a lot lately because it finished airing in 2023, and in that short time, it made its way onto Rotten Tomatoes' list of the 25 best series. The show tells the story of an American football coach who barely understands soccer basics, yet he's hired as the head coach of a top club in England. What's the motive? The club's owner, a woman recently divorced after her husband's infidelity, wants revenge. She plans to destroy the club because her ex adored it like a child. The new coach turns out to be very different from what everyone expected. The owner is played by the actress who portrayed that nerve-wracking character in Game of Thrones, if you recognize her. The series runs only 3 seasons, totaling 34 episodes. I want to introduce 2 series that are intensely dialogue-driven, the kind that gradually build their characters and later hit you with a major event, namely Succession and The Americans. This series tells the story of a media mogul with a huge company. After years in the business, he's grown old and needs to pass his fortune on to his children, yet he doesn't fully trust any of them. We watch the clash of different personalities as they try to rack up greater successes, win their father's favor, and sometimes sabotage one another. We'll also see what sort of scheme this wealthy man has in mind, how a tycoon like him plans to manage his fortune even after his death. As I said, the show is extremely dialogue-driven. In the first 3 or 4 episodes, almost nothing major happens. One by one, the characters are introduced, they talk, throw a birthday party, play baseball, so you gradually learn who's anxious, who's obsessive, who's cheerful, who's unhappy, and later the story hooks you through these personalities. The series has earned very high ratings and has been hugely successful with critics as well. It only has 4 seasons and a total of 39 episodes. Dialogue-driven series, The Americans, is a favorite for those who enjoy spy stories. Shows like this are rarely made anymore. Back during the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, there were plenty of films and series like this. Naturally, the story of this series takes place during that era. It follows a husband and wife, Kerry Russell plays the wife, who are not a real family. Both are Soviet spies sent to America by their agency under the guise of marriage. They've been spying in the US for years. Assassinations, kidnappings, stealing information, whatever the KGB requires, they carry it out. Years have passed. They've had children, and those children have grown up and effectively become Americans. So the psychological landscape has changed dramatically. The husband wants to defect to the United States, and he has genuinely fallen in love with his pretend wife, feeling she is truly his spouse. The wife, meanwhile, still supports communist ideology, though she isn't exactly pleased with her superiors. The situation is that complex, and things get even more tangled when their new neighbor turns out, by coincidence, to be a CIA agent. The intricate relationships among these characters give us a captivating story. The series finished airing in 2018. It's a bit long, with nearly 75 episodes, and let me tell you, its ratings have been excellent. Tell you about 2 other series that deliver intense suspense and feature a ton of strange events. Both are now pretty much old, which is why I know many of you haven't seen them. Lost and The 100. You all know Lost, but a generation has passed since it aired. That's why I put it on this list. This series tells the story of the passengers of a commercial airliner that crashes on an island. At first, they think simply surviving the crash means they're saved, but they have no idea where they've landed, an island that isn't even on the map. Strange sounds come from deep inside the island, and there are countless odd, mysterious elements in the story. For example, while searching for a way to be rescued, they find a radio, try to contact someone, receive a distress call, and then realize this distress message has been repeating for nearly 20 years. There are many protagonists, and the more they explore the island, the more bizarre things they encounter. One note before you start the series: Lost was a bit weak in its ending. Disagreements arose among the writers, the show's broadcast was delayed for several years, and when the final season was finally released after a long wait, it performed poorly and didn't end the way it should have. So keep that in mind. The other suspense-packed series I want to introduce, one that's so much like Lost it almost feels copied in places, is The 100. It tells the story of the world after a nuclear catastrophe. The entire Earth has been destroyed by atomic bombs, and no one really knows what happened. Was it a war? Why did it occur? Only those who were on a space station survived. Several generations have passed. The station's population has multiplied. People have married and had children, and now there are too many to stay in orbit. They have to return to Earth, so they decide to send 100 delinquent youths down to see whether life is still possible, assuming the planet is uninhabitable. But once these teens set foot on the ground, they find things are nothing like they expected. Strange creatures inhabit the Earth, mysterious events unfold, and through gradual flashbacks, we learn how the world was devastated by nuclear bombs. Like Lost, this series has a problem. You could say the story really ends within the first 3 seasons, but because of its success, the writers kept it alive with difficulty, padding the plot, much like Money Heist, which wrapped up in 2 seasons but continued by adding new characters. Money Heist stayed fairly engaging, but this show declines after season 3, so you might drop it then, though the first 2 seasons are genuinely gripping. Well, friends, that's the rundown of 8 addictive series. I hope I managed to recommend at least one you'll love. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like.